Right. Hello. The empty chat. I will wait for people to roll in. Doolittle. What's good? Mia, Jade. I mean, y'all just all hopped in the span of a couple seconds. Howdy. I am not dead. I am not dead. It's true. It's just been a while. Hoping to get back to doing one stream a week is the plan. I don't know. Hold on. 2 1 makes it 2. One stream a week. Probably for like 90 minutes to start out, and we'll see. I think back when I got sick, even before that, doing the like 2 streams a week, having to set up for it, schedule the time was like kind of grating on me. Oh, am I dropping a bunch of frames? Hold on. Can y'all hear me? Are we good? How so? Just so I can, it's a bit choppy. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I do have a bunch of drop frames. What that is. Wonder why that. Well, it might just be a little choppy today. I don't know. What's up, Mortis? My people. I miss streaming. You know what? It's like, if I schedule too many streams, I get kind of like worn out by it, just because it feels like a lot in between work. But I miss talking to y'all and getting the questions when I'm not doing it. So happy that that y'all are here. And an absolute fuck ton has changed. Seconds per frame. Good. Yeah. Interesting. I actually have I do have a ton of drop frames. Sorry, I will try to fix that. Will I try to fix that? I think it's just the internet, and maybe it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And maybe, in fact, I will run over and take the Ethernet from Monica's computer and put it into mine. So I pull my pants so high up that there's no chance that you. The network on Monica's computer is broken as shit, so. Which is fine, because she's barely using it. Oh, we'll see if that fixes it at all. Excuse me. Still coughing. It's been a while, but that hasn't gone away. Let's see. Okay, now we're on wired. Ideally, the drop frames will go down. Let me know if it's running any smoother. But yeah, I hopefully I'm going to be talking a little bit about all of the extremely significant work we've done since we talked last. I have not streamed in, let's see. Wow. End of October. Would have been 1, 2, 3, 4 months. That's pretty wild, actually. Has it been that long? Damn. So y'all really thought I was dead. I am very hyped for Shadow of the Erdtree. I haven't played Elden Ring. I mean, when it came out, I played it for like 200 hours, but I haven't played it since then. So I'm excited to go back to it when it comes out. There's kind of a ton of shit coming out. I'm gonna have to pace myself because I have a lot of work to do. But I just, over the past couple of weeks, got really into Persona because Reload came out. I'd never played them, and Reload is hella fun. I beat that, and I'm like a little over halfway through Persona 4 now. What was I gonna do? Oh, right, we're gonna first developer stream in a months. Drop by to hear about all the progress in the game. Put it out on Twitter and we're good. Been trying to get through Infinite Wealth, but my friends keep dragging me to do things in Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV seems like an absolute, like, death of your social life. Because, or not your social life, but your other gaming time. I guess that is the social one. What is Unicorn Overlord? I remember... Oh, that's the, It looks like, Octopath, huh? That's by Atlas. Wait, Unicorn Overlord looks sick. I actually never really looked into this because I was doing other stuff at the time. We'll have to try that demo out. Looks very cool. You've been going down the Sonic rabbit hole, reliving your childhood. Just finished the Tails 100% playthrough on Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Gonna do the Knuckles one soon. That is a problem, dude. There's so many of those fucking games, and most of them are gas. I played the ever-living shit out of Adventure Battle 2, like literally everyone else did. Pokey! Welcome. What's up? We're just talking about what we've been playing while I've been in the nether realm, not streaming.
Of course. Interesting maneuver.
Oh my god, Dylan TA, thank you. Wow. He's subscribed for 37 months. This guy must really like me. Also, why does that not show up in the chat box? Okay. Thanks for dropping by, Dylan. Yeah, I've got my fake glasses on for the visual, my blue light glasses.
Of course. Interesting maneuver.
Yay, dev stream. My God, Mortis, thank you. God, if I didn't have to drive a bunch today, we would return to shots for subs. But I am going to the Warriors game with my step-parents. Nice. One of the only people who can say with my step-parents, and it's a multiple, and they are together. Oh, thank you, Joseph. Yeah, next stream is in 38 months. That is how it be. What's up, Luke? Yeah, that cowboy with a hatchet goes absolutely hard. It's true. And Starberry Lemonade, thank you for dropping by. I don't know if I said. But yeah, we since a lot has happened since I streamed last. We did at least for this early, a pretty big testing round with the game around like end of November and in December. And at the time, I think 26 chapters were playable. I'm not sure if anyone got all the way through all 26. I think I'm the only one that's played them all. But we did get a lot of feedback on what was feeling good, what wasn't, how the systems work together, and got to like really take a look at the game as a whole rather than sort of bits and pieces as it's been as you build up. And a lot of it sort of wasn't what we wanted, so we went back to the drawing board and tweaked a lot of systems that we felt were fun individually, but in the actual execution of the thing, they didn't fit quite together. And we reworked a lot of the systems. And so I've spent most of 2024 so far finishing up that rework, getting in the new systems, getting in new UI to fit the systems. And we're just getting pretty close to the next round of playtesting, because I finally have it all together. We're starting to get map art in. It's starting to sort of be more of an actual video game. Dark Deity 2, I don't want to say anything definitive because I have to look back into what that actually like means, but I'm quite certain that it will launch on the Steam Deck. And I did just this week fully update controller support through the whole game, so now you can, you know, all the menus and everything work on controller. They didn't for a while because, again, I reworked all the menus, so I had to sort of come back through. So that is kind of the primary thing that makes it like Steam Deck playable, so it should be, is what I will say. I don't know, I can't say definitively. But yeah, the weapon system I think people are going to be very, very happy with. I know I've mentioned this before, but weapons are now like actual items that you can loot and buy and sell and equip on different units. Whereas in the early builds of Dark Deity 2 and obviously in Dark Deity 1, they're sort of like permanent progression systems attached to the characters. And having them as like legitimate loot opens up a ton of
course.
gameplay
Interesting
changes for
maneuver.
us. Thank you, Joseph, for the subscription. all my boys. So real for that. But yeah, the weapons now, again, I mean, them being individual rather than, you know, tied to progression really, really opens up enemy variety, because an enemy with one type of weapon, you know, the same class, but two weapons can be two very different enemies at the same level.
Of course.
Really brought...
Interesting maneuver.
Whoa. It's been a while since we've had a hype train. Thank you so much. So I forget if that actually does anything or not, but yeah, let me know if the music is bothering people. It's kind of just a song from the game on loop. Yeah, the weapon system is huge. We went and looked at the passives and abilities in the game, and we redesigned. I'd have to have someone like numbers check this for me, but I would say probably 60% of the abilities and passives got changed from what they had originally been. Which that redesign came after all of the other systems had been like reconfigured so that everything works in tandem now. Loot is totally different. Stat boosters are back. Stat boosters were not really items in the same way. So that's big. Because again, it's just really, you know, all of you have played, presumably, strategy RPGs, and getting a stat booster from a chest just like feels very good. So I've been placing some of the early stat boosters and having fun with thinking about what people are going to do with them. And as is tradition, the first one you get is an HP booster. So we'll see. Maybe you'll give it to Arthur, who we revealed today. who is very, very strong at the moment, I will say. At least in mine. I know someone who's actually played it's going to come in and be like, my Arthur was dog shit, but my Arthurs are usually good. But we'll see in this new paradigm how that changes. What's up, Tempest? I've never done a single strategy in an RPG in my life, unless hitting the problem with the biggest stick possible classifies strategy. You can do that now. There are bigger sticks. And there are modifiers to your sticks that can make them even heavier and hit even harder, if you so please. Giving stat boosters to not old men? Not likely. Fair. Until the final map when you have so many drugs. That's when the winners do drugs. Arthur, I wish I could say if he's strong or not, but he has never hit an enemy. Yeah, that's fair. Although, Luke, I don't think you've played it yet with... I don't think you've played it yet with the new weapon system. His hit is much, much improved in the early stages now. He starts with... let's see. If I recall correctly... yeah, he starts with 90 hit on his weapon, so he'll be hitting shit now. Mortis soon. We're not quite there yet. Damn, they still really got people going through spamming the channels to get bots. That's crazy. Okay. There's a pretty good chance that there will be a public demo of the game. We don't know for sure yet, but I think there's a pretty good chance that people will have a chance to play it before it's like fully out this go around. Now, what that means when that is all up in the air, but although we will be definitely expanding our internal playtesting before that. Going to play Dark Deity 2 like a game of Wizard Staff, Wisest Wizard. Just stack all of the empty stat boosters to create the biggest stick. What part of my soul do I need to give away? It's just not there yet. There's sort of the weird thing about a game like this is that it's not like... Enjoy, Luke. Thank you. It's not like another game where you can sort of develop like a, you know, vertical prototype where you can play one level through and like all of that stuff gets completed, because, you know, there might be 10 enemies and 10 classes for the players on any given chapter. So like all those animations need to be done. Every piece of UI for the gameplay needs to be done. You know, loot UI. There's just so much that needs to be like finished before we can sort of open it up to the public. We're not quite there yet, but it's coming along, getting closer. We switched map artists semi recently because she just did not end up with enough time to do it. We had too much riding on the person who was doing them, because she's also our UI artist, and there's a shit ton of UI to do, especially because we chose to redo all of the systems in the game. Excuse me. Sorry about that. What was I saying? My cough just completely derailed my mind. Oh yeah, the map. But we're starting to finally get finished looking maps, and it's pretty exciting because we've gone a really long time in development, having tons of assets done, having pretty much like near complete gameplay in a lot of ways, and then the maps are like using just prototype assets and they don't look complete, which is really sort of a little bit frustrating on the developer end, because I'm like, you do all of this and then one of the most important visuals, the backdrop that frames everything, wasn't matching it. So now that we have art that actually like feels final and feels good, it's starting to get closer to where people could actually play it, and I'm not going to be like embarrassed by how it looks. So that's definitely been pretty exciting. Trying to think, what else? Redid the weapon system, redid almost all of the abilities, almost all the passives. I just got done reworking the shop, actually, for the game, which was kind of a pain in the ass. Not super surprisingly. Oh, yeah, the big change. So, you've seen, I guess, I'd have to really rack my brain for how much of this you've seen, but abilities are a huge, huge, huge focus of Dark Deity 2. Like you can see Arthur's personal ability, if you looked at the updates today. He can, you know, shoot a magic bolt that increases the more mana you spend, the damage. Every ability in the game is now upgradable. There are 4 stages of upgrades, so the currency that you use to upgrade abilities is another like big change to the paradigm of, you know, when are you getting loot, what are you getting. We basically, with the new changes, like just drastically changed the landscape of how we reward you and what you are rewarded. Side objectives. There are now explicit side objectives on most maps that give you predefined loot that you can sort of see. Not sort of, you can see the loot that will be rewarded, which gives us a lot of area to, you know, beyond just the terrain, the geometry, the enemy makeup, you know, the primary objective of levels. It gives us ways for making the level feel more difficult, or, you know, giving you an extra oomph to go for to get some special loot that, in tandem with the turn limits on the levels and in tandem with the main objective, creates just like much more interesting level. You know, we had before in Dark Deity 2, but much more than first game. And yeah, Starberry, ability upgrades for all abilities, including personals. So that can be anything from increasing... Hold on. From increasing the range of the ability, decreasing the mana costs, you know, increasing the effect, increasing like the amount of targets that something hits, if it's AoE. There's a ton of different modifiers. And they take the different kinds of abilities, take different kinds of materials to upgrade. So you're incentivized a little bit to not just like stack a bunch of one kind of ability. And in tandem with that, we've moved for enemies have a fair bit more health than the player right now, because you have so many tools to buff and debuff, to move, to basically just to handle enemies. You have so many tools that it's like a playground. You needed more health pool to go through, basically. A no ability upgrade run would be doable. There are some abilities that benefit more from the upgrades just inherently, because, you know, if you have a flat effect and it's just the cost that goes down, like, you're gonna get more use out of that pound for pound than something that really depends on the upgrade. Also, is personal passive and ability a standard thing or just an Arthur thing? Every character has a personal passive and a personal ability. That is changed. That's why we didn't reveal the previous people's abilities, because they didn't have personal abilities at the time. And then honestly, one of the bigger changes, and this is all totally up in the air, but Twisted Destiny is being changed quite a bit, and if you read the January developer blog, you would know this, but it's not. We're not approaching it as a completely separate mode anymore. What we are most likely going to be doing with Twisted Destiny is creating a pseudo-endless endgame dungeon with a variety of maps, pulling from a lot of ways we can do that, but with adjustable maps, adjustable objectives, random loot, and just the plan is kind of to treat them really like dungeons and have the maps be really large and difficult and significant, like and feel different from campaign maps. And that's something that I will probably make playable. Like, you don't have to beat the game to go into it if you don't want to play the campaign. I will probably make Twisted Destiny only runs a thing. Yeah. And it's something that a lot of people have, requested. It was one of the more wanted for things during our Kickstarter for Dark Deity 1. The endgame dungeon. So I'm really excited for that. I know Luke is lurking and playing Baldur's Gate 3, so he's not in chat saying anything, but he's very excited to design the maps for it. Is there a plan for keeping or getting units up to level for the new version of the mode if it's meant to be endgame, or will it only be accessible to the unit focused on? Yeah, that's a great question. It's pretty undercooked right now because, again, we just nixed the original Twisted Destiny pretty recently, and I'm sort of planning on not working on this new one until probably about a month from now. I don't think that we'll have any explicit XP recovery mechanic. We have talked about it. We thought about it for the base game also. But the other thing is that with abilities, ability damage is not reduced by fortitude or defense. Ability damage is flat, right? So there are a lot of, not easy, but a lot easier ways to get under-leveled units XP than you're probably used to in a game like this. So for endless mode, will characters not in the campaign be playable? I remember discussing like bonus characters with you around the announcement of Dark Deity 2. So again, that's another thing we haven't really decided on. I would like to have, like a NPC or villain mode to it, but we don't have plans for it at the moment. I'm not quite sure. Definitely something that would be possible, but there's definitely development load there. So there's not really sure if it's gonna happen or not, basically. Yeah, it's been a extremely productive couple months. I think I was just thinking about how you guys haven't really seen the game since the trailer in June, and the difference of the game from then to now is pretty fucking enormous, to be honest. So I'm very excited. We're pretty close to like finally being able to just kind of show it off, and like maybe I can stream the game. The biggest thing holding back was the map art, because it just wasn't like something we could show. But we're getting to the point where that's not the case anymore. So very exciting. Vitaka, yeah, we developed the first game in Game Maker. Dark Deity 2 is also in Game Maker, but I restarted from the beginning basically and built the game from the ground up. So it doesn't share any code base with Dark Deity 1. It does share an engine, but it is a whole new code base, which is partially why it's taken so long to get to where it is. Although it has a lot more features and we'll have a lot more content, so that also takes time, obviously. But I love Game Maker, honestly. It has its limitations, but a lot of the issues with the first game were not issues with the engine. They were issues with me not understanding the limitations of the engine because I was so new to programming, and I'm still not great at it, but doing a better job. So, yeah. Yeah, Jade, I'm very excited to show it off. It's tough trying to tread the line between really a couple things. You know, you want to be accessible, and I want to show off development so that I can get feedback and I can make the game better, you know, based on what you guys see and, you know, what people who are going to be playing the game want. But you also want to preserve the hype and make sure that when you're showing it off, it actually looks like what it's going to, and you're not just, you know, making it look bad. And that's concern. And then with story, it's like, you know, I want to show characters off, I want to show classes off, but also, you know, that's another thing, you want to preserve the hype. I want to show people this cool thing I'm making, but don't want to break any NDAs. That's, you know what's funny is honestly the one of the scariest parts of being a developer as small as we are, is that because I work on pretty much all aspects of the game, because I'm the primary designer and also the programmer, like, I'll get on a rant about, you know, something that I was working on in the code, and then forget as, like, the game director that I'm supposed to not be talking about this stuff necessarily. It definitely, there's definitely some mental strain to trying to, like, suppress the, oh, I want to talk about this, so that I'm not completely, you know, blowing too much information. God. Don't get bronchitis, people. It is a bitch. It is a bitch. Whew. But yeah, we are, I'm really, really, really excited for this next round of testing. It's funny, working on something of this size, I'll go earlier on in the process it'll be more, but I'll go 2 months without actually, like, playing the game normally, having a playthrough, going chapter to chapter, because I'm working on, again, the weapon system, the ability system, getting new abilities in, working on the upgrades, working on the loot. Like, this systems rework really took 2.5 months. Really we'll call it 2 months. And in that time, I break and rework, you know, 100 different things so that at any point during the process, it's not really worth it for me to play the game through. And now after all of that work, I finally get to sit down and fucking, you know, play my game. And at the end of the day, we started making this kind of game because I love this kind of game. So it's thrilling, basically, to get to go in and, like, experience all of that hard work. It's frustrating to be in the trenches and to not get to see the product while I'm working on it. But then it all comes back, and it's pretty cool because I get to send it out to, you know, the people who have access to the alpha right now. And they'll, you know, you get the messages of, you know, okay, oh, Gwen feels really good right now, or, you know, this character isn't hitting shit. We get that a lot. I'm a low accuracy lover, unfortunately, for everyone that wants to play it. There's so much joy in developing a video game, but so much of that joy is really concentrated around certain breakpoints in the project. So just excited for the next couple weeks to once again get to dip into the more fun for me side of, you know, people are playing it and I get to hear what they think. Yeah. Probably not an open beta. Zitaka, we may, again, I mentioned earlier, but we may do a demo at some point prior to launch. We're not quite sure. Probably not ever like an open beta, but there's a pretty good chance we will start taking people from the community in to do some early testing. I just have to. There are some tools and some people who use those tools to pick at the code of the game. So I have to be very careful to safeguard spoilers and a lot of different things that we don't want revealed prior to the game coming out. So it'll take some time for me to prep that, basically. But yes, I'm very, very excited to see it. And even before that, right, like, just putting out an actual, 10 minutes of gameplay footage. I don't even know if we'll do that, but, like, that would be huge, because people haven't seen it. As someone who benefits off data mining, forgot how scary it is for devs. Yeah, I never thought it was something that I would have to deal with, because we're pretty small. But it is a pain in the ass to have to consider. Especially for, it's one thing for like a multiplayer game, but for a narrative-based game, like that could do a lot of damage, if people are digging around at the wrong stuff. So, yeah, we'll have to see. I'd also have to choose, like what section of the game is being played, because this is the kind of game that wait till you have to see the anti-cheat for the arena shooter side mode. That's real. For our Dark Deity survivors, you mean? God. Oy, oy, oy. What was I saying? These cops are taken out of me. That is a deep cut. It's true. Right, sorry. This kind of game is very different in the early game. It's very different in the mid game. Very different in the late game. And so the slice that you let people in to see is going to affect how they feel about the game. Like you want to let them in during the mid game because it's going to be more fun. There's more tools. There's more variety. But then you miss out on the gradual buildup of knowledge that leads you to have more fun in the mid game because you understand the mechanics, you understand what's going on. So there's lots of considerations around that. It's just a little different from like an ARPG where there's a much more solid base of like this feels good to play. So much of the feel of a strategy RPG is between the lines. Kept most of your narrative stuff out of any builds because internally we just don't want anything to get out. Yeah. And again, like, it takes effort. Zitaka, what is your game? Let me look it up. I don't know if you've been in before and I'm forgetting, but I don't remember the name at any point. Oh, okay. That would explain why I haven't heard a name. Is it a strategy RPG? If you ever want thoughts, I'd love to see it. You can always throw me a message on Discord. I am available an embarrassing amount of the time. Let's put it that way. Let's... We do love fellow SRPG devs. That is so fucking true. Right, so... I just put in, the first one isn't, but the one after this is an SRPG. Okay, fuck yeah. Mortis, I do want to make a game eventually. Have a great idea, but don't know how I want to go about it. Yeah, it's an ordeal. You'll get the start small adage a lot, and it's valid. Or else you end up with an absolute mess, like Dark Deity 1 is in a lot of ways. Oh my god, it's Schillerite. What's up, Olivia? We vibing? Let's... Where's my side objective? So I'll tell you what I'm doing, what I'm going to do after this stream is over. Probably no message. What I'm going to do after the stream is over, because I'm a little bit too scattered while I'm talking on stream to do this, is I'm going to be adding in more of the side objective, like, condition code. Basically, that counts up and checks if you're doing the side objectives and then gives you the loot for it. I have a couple more I need to add in before I can start my next playthrough. Playing the long game, if I shitpost enough, eventually Chip will unknowingly end up making my dream game for me. That's quite possibly true. Honestly, I do be listening to suggestions. Dark Deity 1 is an absolute mess. I mean, have you seen the lack of age diversity on the roster? True. Technically, there are some older folks. They're just anime characters, so everyone looks like they're 18. Reminds me of the game I'm currently testing, where the theoretical playtime of the demo my buddy plans to release is like 12 hours. It's so huge, and I played through the first part fully at least like 20 times. Damn. That sounds sick. That's a big ass demo. I do fully expect, like, if we put out like a 3-chapter demo, I would highly suspect that there would be a handful of people who play it through like 10 plus times and end up with as much time in those 3 chapters as, you know, it takes to beat the whole game. And you know, it could end up too that the new Twisted Destiny is our method of delivering the game in a demo format, because that's how you get the gameplay without us giving anything away about the story. Friend tends to over-deliver in everything they do, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah, that's not a bad thing pretty much ever. Well, it can. I guess it can be in terms of like time and expectation management, but still, definitely keep me posted when there's info about it, Mortis. Be excited to give it a go. Z-Taka, are you guys working in Game Maker? Or what are you working in? You should leave in the ability to grind out one character to max level chapter 1, and that will get at least a couple schmucks to spend hours in the demo. It's true. I've heard people will do that. Man, oh man. Unity, but you've looked at Game Maker and gonna... Yeah, that makes sense. I spent like a week when I was a freshman in college. I was like, I want to make a game, and I made like a little Banjo-Kazooie platformer knockoff that was complete garbage in Unity, and then I didn't touch game development again until Dark Deity, 4 years after that, or 3 years after that. So it's been a while, but I definitely prefer the interface of Game Maker personally quite a bit. Let's see, Mortis. It's a classic turn-based RPG in RPG Maker, but good lord, he's pushing that engine into it. Dude, a lot of people do fucking crazy shit with RPG Maker. I'm sure a lot of you have played Symphony of War, which I'm like pretty sure is built on a modded RPG Maker engine. I don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Which is incredible because the amount of shit that is in that. Undertale is Game Maker, I thought. Yeah. Undertale's made in the engine we use. Yeah, I speak very, very infrequently to Phil sometimes because we have the same publisher. So, but yeah, they seem very cool. If I allow grinding in the demo and allow save data to be transferred, yeah, I there's a very, very high chance that save data would not transfer to the demo. Which actually, you mentioning that is telling me that I should probably write in some exceptions, or if we, so many things to worry about with the demo. What do we got here? Alright. Just make a new game with the existing assets. He's afraid of the level 50 old man in the tutorial. Can you imagine? That actually would be a pretty funny idea, though, if I went out of my way and put like a secret level 50 boss in the demo that you can like access through very specific actions. Maybe I'll think about that. We do need to put more like Easter eggy type stuff in the game. There's not a whole lot of it right now, although that is kind of the thing that you add in After Effects. So we'll see, because I love Easter eggs. I am an Easter egg enjoyer. That is for sure. Ooh. Our weapon icon artist is about to post some new ones. Ooh, like that. I'm just gonna sit here and say, ooh, I like that, like 18 times, and you can't see anything. That is very, would be very typical of me. Turn 1000 reinforcement. That's actually, that's like the Reaper in Persona. Genius. Yeah. So, how do people that are in the chat, how do you guys feel about the Friday 2 p.m. slot? Is this something that works for folks that you would have interest in? Because I may bounce around for a while looking for sort of the right time slot. Think it could be a tad better, but do what works for you. Like it, but can't do next week. Works for me the next month, and I'm working Fridays again for the... Interesting. So I wonder if I moved it back to the original 2 p.m. time on Tuesdays. I think was what we used to do was Tuesdays, Thursdays, 2 p.m. Trying to think if I have anything on Tuesdays myself. I could do that. Usually designing at the same time, so it's a fun vibe. I like that. What aspect of the project are you working on? How big's the team? I like hearing about other indies. It's such a unusual space in that like every team's composition is drastically different pretty much. Okay. I'm just actually starting to do some work. 7 people, design and tech. Most of your work is systems and narrative. Ooh. You have to powwow with Zillerite at some point. I've given up the narrative reins. Vanishing, what is that? What is that quote from? What am I, it's like tickling my brain, but I can't quite remember what the joke is from. It's gonna bother me. Oh, okay, it's the Wesker, right? Okay, I thought so. I fucking love that game so much. Oh my god. I don't know if Dylan is still on the stream or not, but Dylan, there's been a Resident Evil 5 message. Our game dev journey is complete. Other people played that game too. Dylan and I, when we were in like middle school, would just play all night. We would just play Resident Evil 5 all night long, many times. That game is so fucking good. And I'm so hopeful that they are going to remake it like they did 4, because the 4 remake was fabulous. And I know that people have beef with 5, and yes, Resident Evil 5 has issues, but the co-op in that game is actually unmatched. It's incredible. The cool old men will do it. Just told my buddy you were interested in his game, and he's incredibly happy. You're gonna have to send him the highlight. Well, Mortis, shoot me a DM with if he wants any thoughts on it. Let me know. I am discreet. I only leak my own information, and only when I usually mean to. Yeah, well, usually when I mean to, not only. You know what I mean. You get what I'm fucking saying. Let's see. What are we missing? Barry Burton is extremely OP, it's true. Ooh. Yeah, send it over. I don't know if I'll be super active, but I'd love to see it. Oh, it's so exciting to be getting to the end of something I'm doing. I just want to play my game. Is that so weird? I just want to fucking play my game. I've been in an unplayable state for so long after the last playtesting round. I'm just very juiced to get there. Okay. I will join after the stream. Okay, so we're coming up on 3. I'm probably going to keep the stream to an hour this week, just because it's been a while, and I am super clogged up today, so this is kind of tiring just talking. But stream has been interesting, but the only man on my screen isn't very old, so I'm gonna go play a video game. Understandable. Thank you. I don't think that I don't think I'm very old, so I appreciate that. yeah, I'm probably going to head out pretty soon here. So any last questions, hit me up. I'm going to try to stream next week. I think I'm around. I have a bunch of like trips coming up, so we will have to see. So the days might move around, but I will keep you posted. And everyone, thank you for dropping by. Really excited to show you more in the coming months. And I hope everyone has a fabulous Friday and weekend. See you guys.